So, first things first, we'll pick up back out in the courtyard. Luna, you and all of your group are back out there. Everybody's fine. The bottles have been distributed. All the other different kids and people are like breaking out the alcohol and dropping them around.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that from?
Your
Oh, I
dad.
can hear you. They're all hanging out. They all have the alcohol set. People are drinking and laughing, kind of dancing
Right
around.
now,
a
I
little
hear
bit.
only Ace talking to you.
Nice. All right. And from there, everybody was hanging out. So, what are you all doing at this moment? Because now that you're outside the academy, you can no longer hear the alarm.
Um,
You all do notice that Wanda is missing. All right. Nice.
I'm gonna sit near but not next to him and meditate. Because I gotta do that, you know what I mean?
All right. Sounds good.
Oh, sorry, I just put my headphones back in.
I'm gonna
I
I'm gonna look around and make the Captain Obvious remark of, aren't we short one
I'm thinking
person?"
of what I'm doing.
at that point, I'm just gonna nod my head, and be like, "Yep, somebody's gone,"
Mhm.
or nod in agreement. I aren't gonna speak yet.
Nodding.
Exactly. With that, as you guys all are doing that, kind of like beside you, Luna, you notice this girl. She seems to have like kind of dark black hair, fairly pale, wearing like kind of like a black bodice dress with big red combat boots. And she kind of like pats you on the shoulder. She's like, "Oh my God, you were so amazing! How did you do it? How did you get it? What's it like on the inside? Is it like really cool? Did you like see something real cool? Was it like something powerful magic? Was it like cool classrooms? Was there big beasts? Did you have to fight off people a lot?" And when I say she's doing all this, she's like jumping back and forth in place and moving around, and she hasn't stopped like since for like 3 or 4 minutes now of just talking.
She's just like animating all her words.
Intense little girl.
Everything she's talking fully with her hands, but you also recognize that she was one of the people in the team leader meeting.
Oh, the little one who looked like she was there as placement for like a substitute for the
I
actual
was going
leader.
to say she looks like she's about 13 years old.
Well, I tell her the luck.
She's like,
Yeah.
"So, did you see something cool?"
I tell her I saw a band that floats on its own, along with dishes that were bringing Sprada his and other people's
Mhm.
dinner.
She immediately turns around and just yells across the courtyard, "Yang! She said that she saw magic stuff floating around. I told you."
I stop her. I put my hands on her mouth. And is there a corner I can like pull her to?
I mean, there's the wall off to the side, but like the courtyard is just kind of like a huge diamond pattern. So you can head to one of like the corners of the courtyard. You guys are
Yeah,
in the middle of it at the moment.
I'm gonna do the little stuff like
Uh, and she's just kind of going along with it. Though you do see, like, when she yelled out, you kind of see the person she yelled to, this kind of tall, statuesque blonde woman with like this dripping, long, yellow, golden hair that, like, even in the low light, it looks like it's damn near a fire. And it drips down to like below her butt. But she's wearing like kind of like these beige fatigues. And she kind of turns and looks, and she kind of cocks her head. And you see, even though you're holding Ruby and like dragging her away, she just like puts her finger up like a thumbs up. So her sister just kind of not like shrugs her shoulders and goes back to talking with everybody else.
the girl did
But
that.
yeah, the other girl she yelled to just like shrugged her shoulders, like, okay, like she expects things like this to happen. Like, I get it. I get it. I would do the same. I get it.
Okay, good. Yes. Oh, oops.
All right. So you have her over there in the corner. You all see Luna grab this girl and just drag her off to the side.
I'm like, you don't have to blast it, bro. You don't have to.
she just all of a sudden eyes goes wide, like, oh my god, I did it again, didn't I? I did the thing. I was doing the thing.
I don't know
Yeah.
what thing you're talking about, but what was not right. I'm gonna tell you that.
See, Yang always tells me not to be so loud about everything. I don't have to just say it because I think it.
No, that's correct. You do not.
Mhm.
Oh my god, I feel like Katsumi.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
like, but you were so epic though. It was so like you got all the stuff. You came back with alcohol for everybody. And then she pours out like her own bottles. Like, I've never even had alcohol before. And you see her start to uncork it.
I'm gonna take that from her.
Make a sleight of hand check.
You probably can't. Like, it's pretty bold of you to assume that you can just take something from somebody in this world. You know what I
Um,
mean?
Not bold. I mean, I know it's not something that's like
13 place you are. That's all.
not enough for me.
I mean, she's here for a reason too. She could
Hold
probably
on.
do some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. Okay, but brain development and shit like that.
Look, I'm just saying, y'all wanted to clown me for not thinking things through last time, and now that
I'm just gonna shake my head and stay in silent.
You're not here because you fucked up.
you're right, I'm not here right
Thank
now.
you.
Shut it up.
Actually, I'm gonna be standing next to Ruin, and I'm gonna pull out the like super strong bottle of alcohol that he and I snagged, and just kind of like hold it up to him.
Yep,
Like,
that's
you want some?
it's a bottle of fire
I'm
whiskey,
gonna
which
nod in
is
agreement.
200
I'm
proof.
gonna grab the bottle.
I'm sorry, did you say 200 proof?
200 proof, yes.
Don't breathe on it; it might explode.
Mhm. Like, if he opens the
throw-
cap,
I'm
you will
gonna
all
pop
smell the
that.
alcohol immediately.
Like, hey, everybody at a
Well, I'll
200
pop the cap.
put out your torches.
Soon as the cap is popped, you all get a whiff of it, and it smells like burning hot fireball cinnamon. Like, your entire nostrils are like, "Ooh, oh, okay." Like, eyes wide, little watery. Like, oh, damn. Other people even kind of look
I'm
over there
gonna
like,
take my
what
first
the hell is
swig.
that? I'm gonna need a fortitude save from you at disadvantage.
I will take it.
Stay, I'm probably gonna do the same thing, so I should ready up my roll, shouldn't I?
Yep, I'm assuming if you grab it right after him to take a swig, you'll need to do the same.
Oh yeah.
What was
what is
the
sleight of
save I
hand?
needed to do? Constitution?
It's a fortitude save.
Fortitude. Fortitude.
Don't do that.
Okay,
Dan.
so it's a 17.
17, nice.
Yep.
You are intoxicated, good sir, but you're still on your feet.
Yes.
Then I'm probably
Like-
out
Alright.
cold because I got a 7.
Oh yeah, like you drink it, and as you like go back to drink it, it hits your mouth, and like you hear the burst of that swallow. You just continue going back and slam into the ground with the bottle.
Can I catch the bottle before it spills?
Make a reflex save.
No, that's fair.
Okay, well,
What's a sleight of hand?
reflex. Okay,
Dexterity.
I'm not gonna catch that. My reflex was a
Sleight of
7.
hand is a skill. What you get with your reflex?
7.
Catching the bottle actually isn't that hard because Sin isn't moving at all, really. So you just kind of just reach out and just grab it gently as they just fall back, like, all right. Right. It's like, cool, I'm gonna just grab, like you go for the bottle like you want another drink, and Sin just continues to fall back. And
like,
Sin is snoring lightly on the concrete, out cold.
What do you expect?
I guess
a
I'm gonna
tiny little
cork
guy.
that real quick and
Mhm.
let's move him somewhere.
Just slide him over to the side, just kind of kick him over like, hey, roll over there. Go over to the side.
I'm just gonna move him out of the way so nobody steps on him.
That's
Thank
true.
you.
What you get for your sleight of hand check, Luna?
What?
If you don't have the skill trained, then it's just a random roll of a d20 with no bonuses.
Yeah, then I got a 14.
A 14. All right. So you go to try to reach from it real quick. And even though you feel like you almost grabbed the bottle, she like pulls it just slightly down and you just grasp nothing but air. And she's like, ah. And she kind of giggles and just takes off back to her friends, moving really quickly.
Told you.
I just failed.
Nah, you just got clowned by a child.
That's not, you consider that can say
That's
that.
all right.
Okay.
I'm
That's
laughing.
all right. With that, we come back around to Luna turning around, and you see that Senna's out dead cold on the ground, and you can even see from here that Ruin looks drunk, and you can start to smell the waft of the alcohol on the air. And they're roughly about 30 feet away from you.
Okay. That's nice.
But you do remember giving away all 30 bottles, so you're like, where the fuck did that?
I'm gonna just assume they found it.
Mhm.
I'm not drinking though, because I want to deal with whatever happens to this guy.
That's a responsible thing. With that, Naomi, are you doing anything while your compatriots are kind of having a few drinks around you?
I mean, I would like to. I like Fireball personally, so it sounds very good to taste.
I was gonna say, if you like Fireball, this smells like Fireball on Superman levels. It smells intoxicating to you.
This
Like
is
your mouth is
fire.
watering looking at it. This is Fireball's bigger brother, Hailstorm.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
So if you want to take a drink, you can ask Ruin. I'm sure Ruin is in a very happy mood at the moment and smiling and seems to be very chill. So is that a yes or a no?
I would take a swig.
All right. Ruin, do you pass the bottle?
Yep, I'll pass the bottle.
All right, Naomi, I'm going to need you to make a fortitude save at disadvantage. So you need to roll 2d20s and then add the lower number to your fortitude save. Not a problem. Get them rolls on. It's 2d20s. Disadvantage is rolling. Advantage or disadvantage, you always roll 2d20s. Disadvantage, you take the lower number of the two. Mhm. Fortitude save. It should be down there next to the saves. Mhm. If you're looking at a sheet, it'll be on the first page on the left side near the top.
Yeah, right there. Fortitude +6. 8 plus
Yeah.
6 being a 14.
Yeah, I was gonna say I actually have her damn sheet. So yeah, with that, you take the drink and you're instantly drunk. You kind of like take it back, but when you like bring the swig down, Ruin, you can notice this. Even though she's red skinned, she looks even brighter red than before somehow, which you wouldn't think was possible.
Ruin's gonna speak. I see a cherry.
Which is hilarious because for the most part, you haven't really heard Ruin speak up until this point. Mhm. But with that, we will slide over to Wanda.
Yes.
Which Wanda, while you're kind of stuck frozen there, all of a sudden you see come into view Lieutenant Commander Sprada. And you can hear the sound of what sounds like multiple feet from probably the other teachers. And all of a sudden you see his twin sister, which almost looks like a double image, come up next to him and kind of open her palm. And all of a sudden you see a fold appear in her palm. And she looks through and says, so, let me see, you're with team 7. And she like pulls a card out that seems to appear. And then she like taps you on the forehead with it, and you instantly are suddenly standing back in the courtyard right next to Luna, but still frozen in place, like holding a doorknob. So Luna, all of a sudden, Wanda appears right next to you. Completely frozen.
Completely, huh?
Completely frozen. Blinking and breathing, but that's it.
And I'm just shaking my head in understanding of this moment.
I look at her and wink.
That you do get a wink, but that's about it. I would also say, Tyler, is there anything that you are doing? Are you partaking in any of the beverage being passed around? Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah.
Well, well,
Mhm.
like parent, godparents. One.
Yeah. It's all right. It's just the way that Tyler would remember it. Plus, you all just met like an hour or two ago. You barely know each other's names.
No, it's fine. I didn't know if you knew it or not.
I know you as a person, snake person, the hot one, the one with the horns. It's cool.
There's two one with the horns, you know.
That's all right. Like a hot one and the one with the horns.
Mhm. So yeah, for the most part, you see all the other teams starting to like kind of bed down a little bit. People are pulling out like sleeping bags and stuff like that, kind of rolling them all out, kind of setting themselves up in little spots. And roughly after about another hour or so, about another 50 minutes or so, you see that Wanda, all of a sudden you regain use of all your abilities and like your arms and stuff like that.
Wait, they just left them there?
I like stand up. I like stretch first of all, and then I'm like, wow, a whole hour and nobody even attempted. Okay,
Wait,
I got you.
wait, they,
Understood.
no, I didn't understand that they just left him there.
I see what kind of team I'm on
I
now.
was gonna say Wanda got
Sorry.
teleported right beside you, assuming it might be something to do with you being the leader of Team Seven, or having announced being the leader, and was just stuck there as a statue. But about an hour later, all of a sudden Wanda regained use of her limbs and everything like that.
There's
It's okay. I don't. I just start stretching. I don't actually say anything, but it's cool. I kind of deserve that.
you kind of do, yeah.
Okay, that's why I said I kind of deserve that.
But with that, everybody start to kind of get ready for bed. Though there is food that begins to float out of the castle, and a platter seems to float in front of everybody. Almost a kind of main platter of seems to be set in between or to the groups, to all of the team leaders. And it has different slices of meats on one plate. There are fruits and vegetables. There's breads and grains and desserts on another. And out floats goblets of water that sit down next to the plates. And again, you all kind of hear as you kind of look up, there's a kind of glow on the balcony that you all on before. As Commander Sprotta kind of comes out, and as he starts to speak, his voice kind of like echoes like a megaphone and says there would be libations provided for the night, but it seems that somehow, and when you see this, even though he's roughly about 100 feet away, Luna, you swear he's staring at you, that somehow all of the alcoholic beverages in the kitchen have disappeared. And you hear a round of giggling from other people, like they're like,
like, wow, those stars are really pretty today. Wow. Yeah.
But with that being the case, tomorrow you begin with the first day. I would suggest, as he laughs to himself, that as it was told to me a long, long time ago, you need to prepare a landing strategy. And with that, he kind of turns and has like a whole cape flare out behind him, all over the top, and then like he's gone. And as soon as you like look back down, Luna, all of a sudden Ruby is right next to you again. She's like, so what do you think he means by landing strategy? Does he mean like a real landing strategy, or is it like a metaphorical landing strategy, or a strategy of where we should try to land? Should we try to land with our teams? Because I mean, my team has my sister on and she's cool, but then there's some other people on my team that aren't as cool, and then there's really the Ice Queen who's really mean, but she seems cool.
Maybe
And she's just going nonstop again.
I interrupt her and I'm like, maybe she means like a beach landing.
Yeah.
Maybe he means a beach landing. Like maybe we're storming a fortress or something.
I think maybe he's talking about being here or a mission he's going to send us on. Who knows? I say prepare for everything, but, you know.
She's like, that's awesome. And she puts up a hand to give you a high five, Luna.
and I'm gonna, you know, hesitantly, yeah, no, yeah.
As soon as it goes up there, she jumps and just slaps the shit out of your hand. Yeah, and just runs off.
I just look at it and watch her run off. Yep.
Yeah, your hand turned red from the impact. It's like not hurting, but it's like that was a smack. So with that, is there anything else that you always want to do before you bed down for the evening, like Sin already did?
I guess I'm gonna cover Sin with, I guess, a blanket of his. I'm gonna go through his pack, pull out a blanket or something to cover him.
All right, easy enough to do.
I'd say I couldn't stop you if I wanted to. Yeah, I've got like a bedroll or something in there.
Oh yeah, everybody has like little bedrolls and packs and stuff on like that. You've seen everybody else kind of set themselves out.
I mean, Wanda would say Wanda would stay up.
I will say there is one thing that you all would have noted while everybody else kind of bed down out by kind of like to the opposite side of the fountain where you guys are. 1 second you look up and there seems to be like this huge ass like palatial tent set up there that's like 60 feet wide with like glowing lights and everything like that, and the flap is closed.
Okay. Well, that's nice.
It's a what?
It's a 60
Basically, think of it like a mini circus tent, like it's big as fuck.
I'm gonna
But
go
it
up.
takes up like easily almost like I'd say around 60, 70 feet.
Why do you keep getting into shit?
Why don't you
And I say that to Wanda.
call yourself an adventurer? And I walk off.
All right.
Bitch,
Walking
I'm-
past Sid, who's passed out. Wanda, you can go up to the tent, but the door flap is kind of closed. So you try to open it.
Kind of like try to peek in through just a little bit.
As soon as you try to peek through, there's an eyeball like staring right at you. Like it's rude to be all sneaky, isn't it?
That's creepy.
You know what? I thought this was the bathroom tent. I'm sorry. I'm gonna just I like close the thing, pat it a little bit. Like, turn
And it's
around.
interesting because you then hear another voice from behind you. Which Luna, are you watching Wanda go over there?
Yep.
You see kind of someone materialize out of almost thin air behind Wanda. Like, don't worry about it. This isn't the bathroom, buddy.
I get up.
Mhm.
And I start to walk over because I'm afraid you got yourself into something again. We haven't even been here 24 hours, bitch.
Out of curiosity.
Team leader responsibility. Luna, as you walk up, the person, as you can tell, there's one, the eye of the person that's on the inside seems to be around 4 feet tall, but this person that's standing on the outside, you also saw in the team leaders meeting. They kind of have a chiseled jaw, dark, tuffled hair, but they have like clear blue eyes, almost clear, that seem to shine even in the moonlight tonight. He's wearing kind of like a black kind of average outfit, nothing real big, but everything is all black. Combat boots, black slacks, kind of like a fitted black tight t-shirt with a black jacket underneath. A little bit of stubble going around the chin, a little bit of the shadow around there, the scruff. What a goatee. And he kind of looks over at you as you kind of come up, Luna, and says, kind of puts up their hands like, I mean, no harm, legendary Luna. I was just saying hi to your teammate.
I'll try to keep him in check. And then I'm like,
Mhm.
come on, let's go. No, I'm just joking. I'm just like waving my hand.
And as you do, Adam puts out his hand and says, my name is Adam, and kind of puts his hand between Luna and Wanda to see who's going to reach for it.
Man, I'm gonna do a sense motive.
Okay.
This man probably got like an electric buzzer.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I'm
Like,
so
bro,
trusting.
This
Oh,
man's probably gonna cast a spell and learn something about us I don't want him to learn.
I like the lack of sincere trust already off the top.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
Right here.
But Luna, you said that you just shook the hand.
oh, I got a 19.
Okay.
So 19 for
And
my
sense
sense
motive.
motive.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
the handshake is firm and gripping. And Adam seems to have a slight smile. You don't sense anything that seems to be amiss. Just seems to be a normal introduction.
Luna. He said his name.
He said your name. He called you Legendary Luna, which apparently is the nickname they're giving you since you pulled off the biggest heist yet of the school.
What's his name?
He said his name is Adam.
I just say Adam.
Mhm.
I'm shaking his hand.
I guess I should introduce myself. Team leader of Team 10. Kind of looks over at Wanda. Are you trying to come inside?
Oh, well, I wouldn't mind. I could brew you guys some tea if you like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Oh.
think tonight.
He kind of smiles and says, that's very kind of you, but I think that will be okay. And with that, he kind of pulls back the flap, kind of like with a flourish. And even though you see this tent on the inside, it looks like an entire palace on the inside. Like, it looks like the entrance to a mansion. You see like a spiraling staircase, a huge entryway that spirals up to a second floor. Looking inside, you see like chandeliers and shit. You see servants walking back and forth, carrying stuff. As you're sitting there, you see one kind of short person kind of skid by on some type of blades on their feet, talking about hi, bye, and they just kind of head off around the hallway. And you see Adam just give a deep breath, like, teammates, what can you do, right, Luna?
Smile and shrug my shoulders, like, fucking know it. You know it. Looking at Wanda.
Okay.
Like, so you said you wanted some tea, right, Wanda? Kind of walks in, and you hear him kind of snap his fingers twice, and you see this kind of incorporeal form kind of ghostly float up with a tray of tea. It has a little cream on the side, some sugar. And he
Oh, no.
says, I believe this is oolong tea. And the ghost kind of like bobs up and down. It's like, oolong tea. There we go. I'm still learning how this place works, honestly.
Oolong would be delightful. I have a hard time sleeping. It'd be nice
yeah.
to get to know everyone.
You can have the tea, which is delicious. Like, as far as the team, I honestly have no idea where they are in here. I barely know my way around as is.
I'm just
I think they wanted to say it was something like 100 rooms in this place.
pretty impressive. 10.
Yeah, it's not mine. It belongs to one of my teammates. Apparently, her father bought it for her or gave it to her or some type of thing. She didn't really say much. She's seems to be struggling with the word. She's unique. That's the word. She's a bit unique.
All I'm hearing is privilege. Not privilege, although privilege. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he looks around and is like, her name is Avarice. I don't know where she is, but I'm assuming she knows where the fuck she wants to be around here.
I'm sure she just takes time to warm up.
Yeah, she kind of wanted to be team leader, but the people put it to a vote and picked me over her. So, yeah.
She's gonna vote.
Oh, but who just decided to be team?
Because I was supposed to eat. No, you're not gonna do that to me, bitch.
I mean, you could have decided to have a vote, but you just decided team
Yeah.
leader. I kind of don't.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Bab looks like that. He's like, so if you want, you can have a seat. We can talk for a little bit. He's like, I'd kind of like to get to know you, Luna. Maybe we can be like teammate friends, have like some cooperation between our teams.
Cooperation, huh?
Absolutely. I think that's a wonderful idea.
Okay.
After all,
With that, he says, let me see how this place works. Wait a minute. He kind of puts out his hand and he's like, sitting area. Then he kind of waits for a minute. He's like, I thought that would work. And then all of a sudden you hear that voice kind of squeak again from like coming down the railing. Says you have to remember to clap. He's like, oh, sitting area. And when he claps, all of a sudden the entire foyer turns into this huge, lavish sitting area.
Is that the girl?
Nope, that's the person you saw before that seems to look like they're about a little kid. They're about 3.5 feet tall, wearing like this huge pink dress and roller skates. and has like kind of blonde hair flowing behind her. She's just skating her ass off around here.
See?
Oh, I mean Barbie pink, like pink on pink on pink.
No, I thought she was skating around.
Yes, she seems to be skating around on roller skates.
Oh, cool.
Mhm.
Retro.
With that, you have a sit, and Adam's like, "So I don't know much about Aegis. I've kind of been looking forward to trying to come here. When I got the invite, I was excited. Like, what did you guys do to get an invite?"
I don't know. What did I do?
Oh snap! We got invited.
Yes, it's always an invite.
Oh,
People from Aegis only get in by invite.
Is this where you come up with our backstory? Because
well, actually,
I am not mindset.
Don't worry about it. Like your blankness, he kind of looks at it. He's like, "You don't know either, do you? Good, because I have not the slightest clue why the hell I'm here either.
well,
I don't know why I got in either, because it just appeared one day. Like I didn't apply, I didn't ask to be here. It was there was a card in my pack all of a sudden, and you don't say no to Aegis, right? Right? Right?
I was actually invited based on academics. Yep.
Adam kind of immediately looks at you like, "Wait, you were invited?"
What do you mean you were invited? And we're invited. Why does he say it like that?
Well, as he said, he doesn't know why he was invited.
Yeah, he literally just said he doesn't know why he's invited.
Right.
But you just said we all got invited, right? Like, am I
Yes.
wrong?
Yeah, you're right. Everybody gets a magical invite. It's like, I just don't know why I'm invited. I don't know why I'm here. And then Commander Sparta said that whole mysterious shit about the landing strategy. The fuck does that even mean?
Well, two schools of thought here. Either he means literally landing strategy, meaning we're probably going to be dropped somewhere and we're not going to expect it, but we're going to be expected to deal with it, or I don't know. Maybe it's a riddle, and
Maybe
he
he's
wants us
just
to figure
talking
it out.
about being here in general.
I know militarily a landing, like a beach landing, is an assault, but that's just where my mind goes. It could be
Okay.
anything.
Okay, we can do this. We can do this. This will be fine. And all of a sudden you see the girl kind of skate by again and says, "You don't sound very confident."
I'm shaking my head in agreement.
He's like, "Okay, look, I know I get like the whole look of the leader thing, but I'm normally not the leader. I didn't even ask to be the leader. It was just put to a vote and they made me the leader. They voted me. I think they think it's funny or something like that."
Oh, did you ask?
I did not.
Well, that's your damn fault.
Well, then maybe they just saw something in you that you don't see in yourself.
Or it could be that there's only 4 members on my team and the other 2 thought it would be funny to vote the one person that didn't want to be team leader.
Either
Oh, well,
way,
that's nice.
either way, it's going to be your responsibility to make sure that these people complete their missions
Don't
and
make him
make it home on
scared.
time. I'm not. I'm not
Of
trying
course.
to.
He's like, "Of
Like-
course, of course. I mean, I have to. I've had combat training. I know how to fight. I can protect my team. It's just I expected to be the good soldier. You know, I didn't expect to really be like the commander, the leader."
So, like, I just got thrown into it too, and honestly, just wing it. That's all it is.
He kind of looks at it. He's like, "I expected to be more like Captain Kristoff, not Commander Sparta himself. Like, I didn't expect that people would look to me for answers all the time."
Perhaps the best thing you could do, the best advice I could give you is just lead by example.
And also, it's not wrong to ask questions. Part of being in a team is collaborating.
Yeah.
Collaborating.
That's what the team is for, bro.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to come up with everything. Just make the decisions, bruh.
And
Give
as you start to come down, all of a sudden, as you're saying that, you hear the little girl that was skating around. Her name, as Adam looks at him and says, "Where did Cap go?" He's like, "Oh no." And all of a sudden, he looks up at the staircase behind you, and you can see coming down the stairs this kind of woman dressed in all black with like golden and silver like inscription and filigree all over her robes, who kind of almost has like a Batman cowl like of it, like you can't see her entire body, just her head up. Everything else is covered in a cape. But she looks half elven and has silver hair. And as she comes down to the bottom of the steps, she kind of pauses and slowly turns her head towards you two. And then looks at Adam and says, "Why are they in my tent?"
Up and said we were just leaving.
I kind of like wave. Hi.
She doesn't seem to look at anybody but Adam. He stands up, he says, "Avarice, I saw some other teammates that were outside, some of the one of the other teams, and I thought that I would invite them inside to get to know each other a little better, as we're probably all going to be allies in the future." And she just looks at him and says, "You're an idiot, you know that. These are our rivals. These are our competition. These are the people that will be vying for the top spot along with every other team. We're not here to play kissy face and make friends. We're here to be the best."
No, that's what I'm asking you to do in the game. I'm asking you to come with me.
No, you're asking. No, I'm bad.
So it's late, so how about we'll call it a good night, Adam? He's like, when you say my name like that, it sounds like you're cursing at me. And she just seems to smile and says, "Good, Adam."
I'm walking out. I tried to bring Wanda, but Wanda is being a rebellion, and I kind of want to like send her off to a new team, but like I'm leaving because I'm not dealing with this bullshit.
So as that you get up and turn around, Adam kind of looks at you and sees that Luna's already gone. He kind of turns to Wanda like, "Well, Wanda, it was a pleasure to meet you. I will have to bid you a good night at this point, as I have apparently other things to get to this evening." You do what?
Wait, is
Yeah,
the
she-
lady that came down? What's her name?
Avarice.
Avarice. Is Avarice still there?
Yep, sitting right there.
I'm like, I'm gonna talk to her. I'm gonna be like, Avarice, my name is Wanda. I think that you're right. Even though we're rivals here at Aegis, we do have to compete against one another at a certain level. I just think it's worth remembering that once we leave here, we're gonna be in the real world, and it'll be good to have, what is it, a network?
Network can be a good word.
Yeah, network. I just
And she kind of like slowly like stops and turns her head back towards you like, "Are you addressing me?"
well, I
Don't
guess I am.
forget she's privileged.
Do you know who exactly I am? You can make a knowledge nobility check.
I will, because I think I have knowledge nobility. And I do, and it's pretty freaking hot. Too. Okay. Oh, and our roll's high. Stand by. That's a 28.
Nice. You know that this is Avarice Sindal. This is the daughter of Jace and Celine Sindal, who basically is like the legacy of this school.
You have another daughter,
Mm-hmm.
like in the other campaign too.
Maybe. You haven't met her.
I simply say, I know you have some big shoes to fill.
Please, whoever you are, there's no need to patronize me. I've led more missions than you've probably been alive in years. I know what I'm doing. Unfortunately, though, the rules are the rules, and it seems I'm saddled with Adam here. So if you'll kindly, ever so nicely, please vacate my tent immediately so I don't have to force you to leave. It would be kind. And she turns and walks away.
Of course. I don't mean to patronize. I'm just saying Adam's not the only one here you have to work with.
And Adam kind of gives you like a nod of acknowledgement.
No offense to you, Adam. But with that, I will leave.
And it's odd, as you actually walk out of the tent seems to like almost camouflage vanish. Like you know where it is, so like if you look at it, you think you can see it still, but it like almost leaves your sight.
For her without her permission. It's not about you rubbing her the wrong way. She asked you to
Right.
leave, and then you didn't leave. But you didn't
I'm
show
just saying
that.
something.
You didn't
Hey.
show
Everybody can play their character how they want.
it.
With that, the evening comes to an end as everybody kind of beds down at this point, kind of late for the evening. But we come around to the earliness of morning. Just as the first crack of light begins to almost peek across the sky with the briskness, cool air of the morning, all of a sudden there's a loud which a horn
Everyone
cuts
ready for
through the
combat.
entire courtyard at high pitched variables, and anyone who is asleep is awake, except for Sin.
Oh,
Sin, you're awake, but your head hurts. It hurts like you took a.
oh. Make it stop.
Mhm. Like you're at the point that light hurts. Like light sounds like it hurts right now. Like your eyes are almost still closed. You're like, just make it all go away.
Yep, I'm just gonna like pull the hood of my cloak a little farther down over my head and try to crawl back into my bedroll.
Mhm. With that, you see everybody standing up, and all of a sudden you hear Commander Sparta's voice say, "Line up!" And you see that people start to like stand up and line the walkways of the courtyard, standing in a straight line, kind of just filling in wherever they were.
I guess I'll join them, but I'll use my quarterstaff as kind of like a crutch.
Perfectly fine. You see, not a lot of people are faring. Most people are faring about the way that Sin feels at the moment. There's a lot of alcohol going on last night, a lot of enjoyment, a lot of late nights. You could take it. Some people probably haven't slept more than like an hour at this point. And all of a sudden, you see the entire doors of the academy open up, and Commander Sparta walks out. Except he's not in his full armor and everything like that. He seems to be just in some regular black slacks, some boots, and what seems to be a sleeveless black vest with his hair pulled back in a ponytail. And as he walks out, the doors close behind him almost automatically. And he says, "Rise and shine, new recruits. I hope that everybody had a wonderful evening last night and nobody is not well rested." As he kind of comes by and he kind of takes a sniff of the air, just, I swear I can still smell the elderberry wine on everyone's. But that's going to be fine because today is your first day here at the academy. And with that, he kind of snaps his fingers. And all of a sudden, you hear him kind of like close his eyes for a moment. And above everyone, you now feel like the downforce has a huge airship kind of like has an invisibility spell dropped from it. And a rope ladder drops down. And he says, "Everyone all aboard immediately. You're moving out, grab all of your gear and pack up. You have 5 minutes." And as he walks by, all of a sudden you see Luna, you would notice, and Wanda. You recognize Avarice from last night kind of walk up to her uncle. And he kind of gives her a pat on the head. Can't hear what they're saying because they're about 60 feet away, but looks to be a brief conversation. And she seems to like point back at Adam angrily. And you just see a blank face on Sparta's face. And then he points to the ship. And then you notice Avarice just like disappear. With that, you see Sparta going around and kind of personally getting all the stragglers, like helping them move their ass, pick it up, but not actually do something full on drill instructor. Move, move, move. Oh, let's go, let's go, let's go. 5 minutes later, everybody is on the ship.
I'm definitely gonna ask Ruin to help me. Like,
Yeah, I mean, the ship's only like,
Yeah, I know.
180 feet in the air. It's fine.
let me just carry my stuff.
help him.
I can get myself up the ladder. I just need him to carry the stuff.
Yeah, I would say for you,
Alright.
Ruin, this is child's play. You can easily fly up there if you want to.
I'm just gonna grab him and just fly up.
Then it's just like, yeah, just grab my stuff, and Ruin just grabs you again and just starts taking off. Like, what? All right.
Okay.
well.
Not gonna fight it.
I will say the instant looking Natalie into death that you're going up quickly, I will say gives you a bit of vertigo where it's like, make a
Mm-mm,
fortitude
nope.
save, my good man.
Me?
Oh, yes.
Oh damn. I apologize in advance, Ruin. Oh wait, that's 14 plus 3, so 17.
It's good. You know what? You feel it rise to the back of your throat, but you're like, gotta look cool. I can't not look cool right now.
Got my ass handed to me by the liquor bottle. Last thing I want is to lose round 2.
Oh yeah, I would say you do notice that a few people kind of like seem to have that same struggle as they're climbing the rope ladder. Like it's some people that seem to just pause in midair for a minute, like there's huge gaps between the groups that are going because some people are just holding up the line and then kind of like continuing on. But everybody makes it onto the ship, and you see that up there, like everybody, some people are near the rail already, looking not too well, not too well. Some people seem to be comfortably fine. Only a couple of people stand out. Like you see one woman that seems to be a bit short, but dressed in all black. Because it's still around the summer. It's starting to turn into a warm day. Like the sun is just peeking over the horizon now as you're on the ship. Which it is kind of nice to be up here because you get this huge view of the entire city as the sunlight hits it and like lights up over all the buildings almost in succession. It's kind of a nice moment. And with that, as everybody's up there, all of a sudden you see up by the captain's deck, you see this kind of small figure kind of like walk up these steps to the top of the actual wheel to take off. And you hear Sparta climb up after everybody and says, "We're all aboard, Captain Boone. Let's go." And all of a sudden, you feel the wheel spin and the ship sharply banks to the starboard side. And a bunch of people, you just see their faces like, that was what did it. And let's just say that the Aegis Academy's courtyard has a little bit in it. As you hear Captain Boone just, gets them every year, gets them every year. And the ship like rights itself as you guys fly out. You fly out for about an hour or so, heading north out of town, kind of towards the mountain range. And then you kind of bank sharply to the port side, heading out to the Hyphalian forest. And with that, Commander seems to be sitting up there speaking with the captain, looking at a map about where they seem to be headed to. Most of the other people seem to be hunkered down, just trying to get over it. Some people are sleeping, trying to get their rest in because they weren't ready for all this. What is everybody doing?
I'm gonna meditate again. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Trying to center yourself.
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
be limbering up.
Ruin starts doing stretches and Pilates.
I'm gonna sit down near Ruin and just be like, you can keep what's left of whatever that was, and I'm just gonna start drinking from my water skin, just like trying to make everything stop hurting.
I'm gonna nod in agreement, pat my pouch.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Tally, what are you up to? And Naomi. Talu, Naomi. Yes,
He's
no,
muted
maybe,
for some
kind of,
reason.
sort of. Nah. We'll come back to what they're doing.
They're both AFK. Yeah. Like
Ah. Mm-hmm.
ah,
Well,
hey, nah, you
Mhm.
missed it, bro. You fell asleep and like just woke up and you missed the airship.
Oh, don't worry. You're on the airship, all right. Sparta made sure everybody got up there. Oh, you're on the deck of the ship. Do you have knowledge geography? You do not really have a good idea. You know, you can tell which direction you're headed at the very least if you make a survival check, but other than that, you don't really know. You're out on the deck of the ship though, so you can see where you're going because nobody's been allowed below decks. You're just all up here. Generally. Right. All right. Not bad. Make a performance check. Oh,
Oh,
stupid curvy eyelashes. As a guy, I have really thick, curly eyelashes that stab me in the eye on a regular basis.
Oh,
I know the feeling, bro. I know the.
If you didn't actually take the skill to add to it, it's just a charisma check. So just add your charisma bonus to a roll. Nice. You start playing the harmonica, sound like some nice, cool blues. People are kind of nodding their head with it in agreement. Kind of all right.
oh, I start playing with him.
All right. What are you playing? Your guitar?
Yeah, I start playing. At first, I start playing like some cool blues type of stuff, but then it starts turning like into like some metal type of blues type of thing, because I'm really into it.
All right. You make a performance check also.
Bet. I rolled a 19. Go see what my performance is. It's a plus 10, so that's a 29.
All right. So even though you're playing really well, all of a sudden Wanda comes up and starts riffing with you and like kind of like picks up your melody and beat and starts like improvising with it. And it kind of goes into like a impromptu jam session.
Ruin wants to shadow box to the beat.
Starts getting in like Eye of the Tiger, like hoo, 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 hoo.
Hell yeah.
And it's interesting as you do that, all of a sudden like another guy comes over that's kind of like small with kind of like dark blue hair and starts playing a flute and starts like adding in little riff melodies to it. And then all of a sudden you see one woman who's dressed in like all white kind of like walks forward and she's kind of like semi-shoved by some of her teammates, one of them being Ruby. And she just kind of looks around like, fine. Like starts to sing. And her singing, we're talking like Amy Lee levels of like, holy shit. And it's like a whole impromptu concert happens on the ship. Hey, shit happens.
it's done.
Man, Wanda starts singing and shit.
All right, make a performance singing check then, but at disadvantage because you're also playing.
How much of a disadvantage?
I mean, it's just a natural disadvantage roll. You roll twice and take the worst of the two rolls.
I got you. Yo, electronic dice are coming through tonight. I rolled a 18 and a 12, so at this 12, 22.
Okay, nice. Your singing kind of goes well. Your voice isn't as powerful as strong as its notes, but once she starts to hear you singing, it's like there's a look in her eyes, like, "Oh, you're gonna try to sing with me?" And she goes like full on like Phantom of the Opera, like belting, like. And when I say she's hitting these notes, I mean she's hitting these notes. Like, god damn.
Who is hitting?
The girl who started singing first.
The girl in all white. She has like long white hair and a ponytail to one side of her head, and has like a rapier on her hip. But she looks like she also has on like a battle dress where it's like a dress jacket with like these high heeled boots. And she's just singing along, and she seems to really be enjoying the music, and it's like going hard. Like, god damn.
All right. How about
Like, oh, I will say for Sin, you hate all of this. All of this is like the end of the world to you. Like you hate everybody and everything in existence right now because now your head hurts all over again.
I'm gonna bow out of the singing part, just play backup singer and like just lean into the guitar, bro, and like
All right.
play with her.
Easy enough for you to do the back her up, but like she's doing it kind of like she's like starting to like dance around and kind of like ballet pirouette around and sing as she sings. And like people are starting to like clap and get into it and start to like cheer along. She's made up a chorus in the song, and it's all amazing. Mhm. And everyone seems fairly happy about it, except for I would say Luna, you would probably be looking around paying attention. Now you're meditating. You don't see anything. Naomi, you can make a perception check because you're the only one that's not in the middle of something else. Look at that, failing at your job, head. One job. That's nice. You would notice that up at the bow of the ship, you see that girl that was all black before talking with Sparta, back in conversation with him and Captain Boone. And she seems to be extremely animated now. Like you see her arms, which apparently underneath her huge cloak that covers her whole body, she has like a vest that she's wearing that's sleeveless, and she's wearing like black leggings or tights. And also wearing high heels and seems to be animated, like slamming her fingers, moving her hands around, like pointing back down the ship. And you can see that looking where she's pointing, you can see the guy that apparently was also the same one she pointed at before, sitting in all black, also kind of like not trying to pay attention, but understand full well that he's being talked about, but like trying to be cool, sitting next to this younger girl, this small looking boy and girl. One is in pink and the other is wearing like black and red. That's about roughly 3.5, 4 feet tall next to him. And it looks like talking about stuff. And he's like, yeah, kind of nodding with them. But like you can see he's like glancing back over there to see where the argument is going. And you see that she's at the point of like now stumping like back and forth and like walking hard and like gesturing with stuff. And the older two gentlemen don't seem to care at all. They seem completely unfazed. Like, yeah. So after this, you guys fly out for about another, roughly about the better part of the day, almost about 8 hours of travel. And just as people are starting to get that hunger because you didn't have breakfast, all of a sudden the ship kind of pulls to a stop over this vast island that you seem to came over because you traveled over water. This seems to be covered in sparse forest, and off in the distance you can see what seems to be some ruins. There's a small mountain in the center of the island, but it's kind of hard to get a visual on where it is because you don't even see land from here. You don't see the continent you came from. And all of a sudden, Sparta claps his hands and says, and his voice magnifies again and says, "Everyone, we are here. Welcome to the Aegis Training Island. Everyone will be dropping from the ship, and your goal is to obtain a relic and bring it back. We will be moored at the edge of the north side of the island. The quicker you get to manage to come back, the better. This could take you days, it could take you hours, it all depends on you. There is active wildlife in the actual jungle, so I would suggest that you be fully prepared to fight for your life and take this seriously." With that, everyone, and then he kind of turns and looks down at his niece to his side, and I mean everyone, disembark immediately.
I
If
jump
you,
off first.
if you need any help, Captain Boone here will be glad to assist you leaving his ship.
I jump off the railing and I jump directly into the water.
Okay.
Wait, how high up are we?
You're roughly about 100 feet up.
I
Oh,
You're
die.
gonna need to make an acrobatics check, my guy. Or actually, you know what? I would say not acrobatics check. You'll need to make a swim check. If you
Hold
just
on.
want to, if you want to jump to dive into the water, it would be a swim check. If you want to try to maneuver in the air, it'd be acrobatics.
Yeah, let me do both because I want it to look cool. Obviously.
Okay. Well, if you just want to look cool, that's a swim check.
Nat 20, first of all, Nat 20.
All right. That's just for your swim check if you're just trying to hit the water and look good. With that, you kind of do like a full-on swan dive where you like flip into a roll and then flip again and kind of go back into a swan dive and you hit the water, almost barely making a ripple.
Almost barely making- That's right.
Oh, the ship is still in the air. Which some you hear Chad kind of look like, so wait, we're not gonna land? And all of a sudden you see Sprout look down at Captain Boone. And he says, landing strategy. And all of a sudden he raises his hand and you see Chad lift in the air with seeming like this purple energy around Boone's hand and just kind of slightly float over to the side. And then you just see Chad looking like, oh, and drop.
Oh no!
Oh my god,
Oh, that's cold.
that's gold. That's
And you hear
gold.
Captain Boone say, does anybody else need help? And you see other people now grabbing their gear and just hopping over the rails, jumping off and things like that.
Yo, for someone
I'm
who
gonna
could have,
be, I'm gonna be sly again and look to Ruin and be like, "Can I get a head start?"
that was very Marine
I
Corps.
go ahead
babe.
and nod. Like,
I was gonna say you do see a couple of people kind of like raise their hands and cast a spell and just start to float off of the ship and like float over towards like the island, like what the fuck ever. I would say from this point, just about everybody other than your guys' team is there, other than Avarice is still there. And there's one other guy who's like dressed in all black with like a face mask on of like all white. It's like a blank mask with just eye slots.
Step out for a second before jumping and look for anything like trees. that I
It
might-
depends. About where you are, you can either jump back over the backside where it goes to the island, or you can jump over the front side where it heads out to the water.
Well, are there trees on the island? Because my
Yeah.
swimming is terrible, bro.
There are trees and stuff in the island. Some people you've seen jump to the island, like slam into the forest and stuff like that. I'll say the one guy that's kind of standing up there, he kind of looks back at you. It kind of like narrows his eyes for a second.
Okay,
And
I'm
then you see him turn around and you see him kind of like take off his jacket. And you see all of a sudden that there's his jacket wasn't actually a jacket. His actual like coat he was wearing was like apparently all black wings, like a bat that unfurl from around him. And he like leaps forward from the ship and glides out over towards the island.
That's dope.
does Ruin see this?
I would say, Ruin, you would see this as you're trying to like gather Sin, who's like, okay, wait, we're gonna do this. We'll be good. We got this.
I'll
But
let
yeah,
out a
you
low
fully see
growl.
it. It's kind of like a flex because like his wings are like out there powerful and they like have the whole whoosh whoosh effect when they flap. Like, oh well, damn. And he looks like, hey, you got to
Yeah.
flap. You like you can do it, but you got to flap and put your energy to it. For him, it looks effortless as fuck.
I'm gonna let out a low growl.
I will say you will actually see Luna, you're still on the ship. You would see Avarice just all of a sudden yell at her uncle, like, this is not the last of this conversation. And you see him and Boone kind of look at each other. And when they look back to her, she's like gone. She like disappeared.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna try to catch myself on a tree.
Okay. Make an acrobatics check to land on the island.
Yeah, I got a oh
You got a 12?
yes.
All right.
I know.
Oh,
Drop down to the island. You try to get down there the best you can and make it. And once you actually hit it, it's like boom, boom, boom. And you get there, you're like, I got this. But as you hit the branches, you hop from one branch to the next and you slightly misstep and you try to trip off one branch and kind of slam into a tree to the ground and take 4 points of damage.
That's four.
Mhm.
Ow.
I mean, you try to land on the island, or if you land in the water, you got to make a swim check. I was going to say some of them you see do different things. Like on your way down, you saw, well, you can only imagine it was Ruby. She had jumped off of the ship and she took out like this huge scythe and was using this like umbrella to like shoot her way down, like using the recoil to like slowly like power herself back up every few feet to kind of gently hit the ground and land. On the bright side, though, just as you hit the ground, you saw this kind of ball of like yellow and beige slam through trees and like slam into the ground beside you. And it like kind of stands up and like shakes her hair and stuff off. It kind of looks over at you. She puts some shades on and says, "Sup," and puts out her hand to kind of like help you up. It's that same woman that Ruby was calling to earlier who said she was her sister. She's like 6'2", 6'3", tall, statuesque, voluptuous, with long blonde hair and glasses on. And she just put out her hand to help you up after she slammed into the ground like a meteor and seemed unfazed.
Awesome.
Type where you look like that's my type of woman. All right, how you get off the ship? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you take your rope and you're gonna try to basically harpoon it to a tree. How much do you weigh again?
Oh my god.
Oh, he's a snake. Yeah, he is a little bit.
Yeah, I mean you can do it, but you assume that that's probably not gonna hold very well if it's not like a full ass grappling hook. It's just an arrow shot into a tree.
Oh no.
And as you kind of sitting there thinking about it, because you and Naomi are still there, because Sin and Ruin grabbed Sin and took off again. Wanda already hopped over and Luna went to make her landing. You hear all of a sudden Sparta's voice behind you say, tick tock.
I'm gonna try to acrobat my way down.
Okay. So you just go all of a sudden Naomi looks up and just takes a run and jumps off the ship. I need an acrobatics check, please. And all of a sudden you hear Sparta say, Captain Boone, if you'd be ever so kind to help young Talu off of the ship. I mean, hey,
Leave your rope there. You might need it.
How crazy.
is that a 14 total? Okay. Oh, with a +5, she got a 19 then.
Watch this shit.
Heading down to the same spot where you actually kind of saw Luna fall, you kind of hit some of the same trees that she did, the ones that weren't broken by the crash landing. It was about and just as she's holding out her hand to you, this other woman's holding out your hand to you, Luna. You see Naomi kind of like slightly gently pirouette down to the ground and kind of land like a kind of gentle 3-point stance. Soft as ever.
I take the lady's hand.
But she grabs that you can like feel the strength in her arms, and she doesn't like kind of help you up. She like pulls you up with, like the strength of her arms.
That's fine.
She's like, all right, like, well, gotta go find the rest of my team. Probably should have thought of that before I hopped off, but you know what? All's well that wood's well, right? And she like runs off into the forest.
I'm smiling and shaking my head as she walks away. She runs away.
Be careful not to get any of this wood. And she runs off into the forest.
My
Talu, what you doing?
Giggity? Maybe?
You did. You can either make an acrobatics check to try to aim for the forest, or you can make a swim check to try to hit the water. All right. Sounds like you got a good chance. What you got? Oh, not bad. And without you getting a running start, generally. But since this is more of a fall, it's just a natural thing. I mean, you did get yeeted, so I can kind of count as a jump also.
bro,
And when I say that he lifted you, like you got lifted in the air, and you didn't like, you see most of the people hitting like the edge of the shoreline where there's like the beach that goes up right to the forest. You were yeeted a good ways in, like you've passed that part when he yeeted you forward from the ship, and you're somewhere towards, you're headed towards the forest. He might have yeeted you a little harder than he realized.
see what I'm saying, bro.
Oh no, you're fine. My son is just playing with the shadow on the wall behind me.
I see it. Tell him I said hi.
Alex says hi to you,
Hey, me too.
and Hassan says hi. He says hi to you back.
Honestly, he probably
Stop.
With that, as you kind of hit the tree line, you actually kind of smoothly, you kind of wish somebody was around to see it. You hit the tree branches and you like use your body to like slither around each of the trees and like down in the corkscrew and land on the ground without any harm. But nobody saw you have this epic moment. I mean, epicness is epicness. And as you're there, all of a sudden, once you hit the ground, you hear, also, you will be graded and evaluated on everything that you do while on this island. So think well. Also, those recording you will not be assisting or interfering in anything that should take place. So if you should happen to die, you'll die.
That's nice.
Good luck. And that's it. All right. So with that, those of you that hit the water, Wanda, you're swimming your way up there and you're making your way to the beach, which you're able to do just well, which starts immediately into the forest. And you know that all of you know that you're on the south side of the actual island, as you were told that you have to go to the north side of the island. And that somewhere on the mountain in the middle is where you're supposed to pick up the relic if you can find it.
All right. First of all, I move about stealthily.
All right, make a stealth check.
Okay. Just a second. Stand by. That's going to be a 24.
Okay. So you
And
believe
then-
that you moved stealthily through the forest?
Yes. And then I'm going to use no direction.
So you know that north is immediately ahead of you, headed across the island, that you're on the very southern tip of the island.
Okay. And my objective is like in the middle, right?
That's supposed to be where it was set to the big mountain, which you can kind of see from you saw a little bit from the edge of the forest, but once you get into the forest, you won't be able to see it.
Okay. Well, I start moving that direction anyway. Again.
I was gonna
stealthily,
say you also do see other people like trying to get out there, and some people are actually in the water struggling to actually make it. Some people have made it to the island.
All right. I stay back and make sure nobody's drowning, bro.
Make a perception check.
Okay.
Can you smell?
I can. My perception check will be 20.
Okay. You can see roughly about 30 feet away or so that's somebody that's kind of struggling to swim. And on the other side, around another 20 feet from them, you see somebody else who's kind of like struggling.
Can I make a survival check and see which is struggling harder?
I mean, your perception check, from what you can see, they both seem to be barely staying up on the water, and either one can go down.
Damn. That sucks.
From what you can see, though, the one that's closest goes down all of a sudden under the water.
That is so sad.
All right, I dive in.
Okay.
Actually, I dive in and I throw like my backpack out, right?
Okay.
To the other person who's struggling, and then I dive myself in towards
I
the
was gonna
person.
say, the person that's struggling, the other person is 50 feet away from you on the beach.
Oh, okay, never mind. I'm gonna dive in for the closest person because I'm not throwing nothing that far, bro.
Make a swim check.
Nat 20,
Okay, so you're able to power swim and get to them and start to help.
bro.
When you like get down under it, when you get under the water and like pull them up, you can't see the other one anymore. Mhm.
Okay. I grab the first person and I start swimming towards the second person instead of towards shore.
Okay, that's gonna be another swim check.
Snacks! Snacks on snacks on snacks! I do love snacks! Yum yum yum!
Discovering can compare the smartest credit cards, mortgage lenders, and more. So you can make your money goals happen.
16.
Jarvis, drop my
You
name.
are barely treading water and keeping up swimming with the person that you have now. But you're moving out towards where the other person was.
I'm half
Okay,
human, so that
I'm
50% of me that's stupid.
Let's see. What do I
That's
have that
100%
can
you.
float?
Your math is blowing my mind.
With your bag and all that stuff, you don't have floatable things at the moment.
Damn, I really don't. My guitar. Would my guitar float? The guitar would float, right?
You're not enough to hold up an entire human.
You think
Okay,
this is funny?
I'm gonna just swim this person to shallower water at least.
Okay, as you're trying to do that, your roll that you had will still be able to get you there just movement wise, trying to do that, but it's taking time.
Well,
And
nothing I
as
can do.
you're,
I'm doing my best.
as you're doing that, you kind of look and see that there's a person that's kind of, you see there's somebody that's standing there with like, you swore that nobody was there. They might have had wings a second ago, but you're swimming, so it's hard to focus. They're kind of standing there in all black. As you're like coming towards the shore, they seem to be standing there watching you.
I yell at them to take this person, and I like push them through the water and go back towards the other
They
one.
might be the recorders.
Okay, well then,
They can't help you. Phil.
wait. Okay, are we in shallower water? They're like they could like.
I would say this part is a little bit shallow, where it's about roughly waist height or so, like that, where they can kind of like stumble their way up there.
Okay, I tell
Yeah,
them.
it was semi-drowning, but they're kind of getting there.
I
But as
say,
soon as you say that, all of a sudden you see that figure reach his hand out, and all of a sudden you see that person that you were holding just get suddenly like yanked forward 20 feet and out of the water.
okay, I don't hesitate, and I just swim back towards the other person.
Make another swim check.
19.
Okay. You swim out to about the spot that you think they were, about 50 feet away, but you don't see anybody. You'd have to dive down and make a perception check at disadvantage underwater.
I will do so. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, man. Kidding me? I roll a 13 and then another 20, bro. Okay. Whatever. Hey, be
I was
quiet.
gonna say.
I haven't heard you roll one yet.
Equally accurate.
Okay, hold on, because I suck at math. I need quiet
What
for a
is it?
second. It's 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
All right, 20 total. You can just start to make out what seems to be somebody's like green cape that's like floating behind them as they're sinking underwater, not moving.
I grab the cape and start swimming towards the surface.
Okay, you're gonna need one more swim check to try to carry somebody else, which has a higher DC because you're trying to also carry somebody.
Oh my god. Hey,
Bro, you know this was gonna happen, but I'm proud of you.
22.
Nice. You're able to get back up to the surface. The person behind you though doesn't seem to be responsive at all.
You know CPR is?
I'm gonna do a heal check and say I know CPR. Yep.
I mean, that technically would be part of it.
I got that.
It takes you, I was gonna say it takes you a little bit of time to get to the actual island because you have to move at half speed carrying somebody. But you get there, and that figure is still standing there, and now there's a couple of others that are standing with them.
Couple of others. Okay,
Yeah.
are these like
They might be their teammates.
are they all like looking the same or are these looking like students?
I'd say if you remember right, you can remember some of these people being on the ship.
Okay, cool. Then yeah, I do my thing and I ask for help dragging him.
All right. So with that, all of a sudden you see them kind of look like all of them kind of look to the one in the middle you saw before. They're just some normal looking guys. And he kind of gives a nod and they run over and grab the person and kind of like spread them out on the ground. And then you see the one person look up and says, "Thank you, we'll take it from here."
Are you sure?
I don't
Yes.
repeat myself. and you see the others is starting to try to like work the person a little bit.
Message
And one of them kind of does like a check in it, kind of like your breathing's like he has water in his lungs. And you see the figure with the robes kind of come up, and all of a sudden you see him put his hand out and slam it down on the person's chest, and a gulch of water comes out. And kind of seems to squint his eyes and look down again. Then he slams his fist one more time, and all of a sudden you hear a deep breath kind of come in. Yeah.
Okay. I say message received, and I'm gonna stealth back into the forest and head towards my objective.
Okay. Make another stealth check, which moving in stealth makes you move at half speed anyway.
Hold on. 23.
Okay. So you move and you feel confident, but slowly through the forest. To Ruin and Sin, where did you all decide to sit down and land in the forest? Because while you're flying down, you see people spreading out over all different ranges. Some seem to shoot down like a cannonball at a hill. Others seem to float along. Some others are flying and things like that. You do see Tyloo get like cannonpole yeeted towards the middle of the actual forest. Where it's like, yeah, oh. All right. But you also see everybody else where they land because you're kind of floating quietly through the air. So, Ruin, where did you decide to sit yourselves down at?
Yeah.
Guess I'm gonna look like where the closest teammate is, or where I guess team leader landed.
Okay. Yeah, you'd be able to see where the team leader landed. Plus, there's a huge crater right next to it because that other yellow-haired girl slammed into the ground over by it. So it's like, oh, all right, I see that. So Luna, as you're kind of sitting over there, Naomi, you're there. All of a sudden, in that drops Ruin and Sin. Sin still looking a little bit queasy.
Let's see how I say.
And so now you have everybody on the team for the most part, almost. All right, Tyloo, what are you doing, good sir? I would say that's more of a survival check or a knowledge geography check to know the area. But the best thing you should know is you remember before you got down to the ground, you were basically tossed towards the rock in the center. So if it was a number or percentage wise, I'd say you're about 40% into the forest, while everybody else you saw seemed were somewhere around the 10 to 15% range. Yeah, he tossed the fuck out of you, but that's because he can throw like 10,000 pounds of force. So he kind of literally shot you out of a cannon.
We're not 10,000 pounds worth of man snake.
That's right.
I'm sorry.
He might have overcompensated a little bit. Might have been the first time he got to throw a snake person. So yeah, if you like, you can make a survival roll to get a general sense of where you are, or you can make a knowledge geography check to get an accurate sense of everything around you, or a perception check just to see what you see or notice. All right, then what you get is perception. All right, with your 13, you can see that things seem to be fairly quiet where you are. You don't seem to notice anything around you, just some general birds and things like that, but you haven't come across much, and things seem to be fine. You have not the slightest fucking clue. I mean, you did see the huge crater that was in the ground, but you didn't know what that was. You passed it.
Could Ruin or I have done a perception check to kind of get an idea of which direction Tyloo was flying?
Yeah, you have a good idea where he is ahead of you all. About distance-wise, you wouldn't know for sure because it's a little hard to tell the distance from where you landed, but you got a general direction of about where Tyloo should have landed.
Then I'll at least point that out to Luna and Naomi. Like
Nice.
Tyloo's that way.
Which throws you off when he says that because he's saying like way into the forest. All right. Nice. All right. In that case, you can make a survival check to see how well you can do that. Kind of set up a base camp. How well you know how to rough it. Hey, just means it's going to be tough. Okay.
Not impossible.
Exactly.
Aw.
You don't know how, but over the next hour, you literally somehow add more stuff to the area that you were trying to clean off. You're like, what the fuck? And it looks even, though on the bright side, it looks like nobody's been there. You covered your tracks extremely well. Yeah, I say for the most part, you've been fairly good about that. The only marker that you were there is the tree that you kind of screwed down. You ripped the bark off of it when you screwed down. So that's the only real marker you have, like, haha. Yeah. All right. So with that, Wanda, you're heading yourself north through the forest.
Yes.
Luna and the rest of Team 7, what are you doing?
Since we don't know where Wanda would be, we're gonna go towards where we think what's his face is.
Talu, all right.
Could I just try to throw a quick message, because if Wanda's at least within 100 feet, I might be able to detect him.
All right, go for it.
It's a cantrip, so I'll just
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell if Wanda's within range, I'll tell him. I'll try to give a general location of where we are heading towards what we believe is Talu.
All right. So you spread that out there, and let me see. Actually, how long do you guys sit there before you start to move out, Zuna?
So like 15 minutes.
All right. You go to hit the message spell, and you don't get any response. Wanda, you don't hear anything.
I just kind of shrug afterwards, like, meh.
That's cool. You guys know how I operate from our first encounter, so you can discuss that I'm moving towards the objective.
Lone wolf it. It'll be all right, but you head out that way. So who's going to be the one taking the lead on this?
I guess Ruin will, since he knows his way around the forest for the most part.
True. Do you step up and say, I'll take the lead, or you'll lead the way? Or team leader, are you going to say anything to your team?
Work together, but whoever knows the forest the most should take the lead of leading us. Yeah.
I guess I'll take point.
All right, make a survival check then.
All of us?
No, just the one that's guiding you.
Okay.
You all are just
I got an
following
18.
their footsteps. You got an 18?
Yep.
Nice. All right, so you're making your way through the forest and everything like that. You actually avoid what seems to be some type of small pit that was created. That you kind of like see it in the brush and things like that. Like, nah. But yeah,
I'll
it's
point
a
it out to the
whole
rest of the
ass
group
trap that seeming
to
like set
avoid
up that
it.
was dug out by some animal.
Good job.
Like trap.
Like a trap, like something set, like created that to like mess with something.
Mm-hmm.
Even has some nice sharp pointy sticks at the bottom.
Nice. That's nice.
I don't want to poke it with my quarterstaff. I know it won't do anything, but it's
I
just
mean,
kind of
it
like,
does have like leaves and grass over the top. You can at least collapse it.
yeah, I'll smack at it until it collapses in on itself.
Yeah. You hit it one good time and it just empties all into it. All right, continue your way through the forest. Which reminds me, Wanda, I'm gonna need you to make a survival check to see where you're headed out. Unless you're headed just straight north.
Actually, I will make a survival check. I will make a survival check.
Alright.
That's going to come out to 18.
Okay. So you're following along. Unbeknownst to you, following along damn the exact same path where they were, just moving much slower than they are.
Oh,
At
I'm
your
behind
current
you
rate.
now?
You were on the beach and they were into the forest already. So basically, you were at 0%. They were already at like 10%. And Talu's at 40% already of where they are in the forest to the middle. And you're moving at stealth speed, so you're stealthy, but you move at half speed, so you're moving slower than they are. So they're actually much farther away from you now than when you started.
You're right. You're right. That's just, that was a lot to take into account. You're right.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Um,
Mhm.
so as I'm moving through the forest, am I seeing any movement? Am I seeing? I would like to take notes on the movement that I see from like other teams, like as I'm moving through, and like I'm just gonna jot down like intel, bro, and pass it off to team leader when I catch up.
Okay. I mean, you've come across a few people. I'd say the main one that you notice is because you remember kind of like the little red girl that seems to like Luna. But you
Right.
notice apparently her team that also that woman that was singing and all the white, that she's also on her team. There seems to be some girl with black hair that wears like black and white that's also on their team. And along with this yellow haired woman, they all seem to have found each other. And they seem to be kind of okay and relaxed at the moment. And it seems to be a whole ass argument they're having walking through the forest, where apparently the girl in white thinks that she should have been the team leader, and that there's some type of terrible mistake that some child is leading them.
I'm gonna stealth in on this conversation. I'm gonna play like fly on the wall and like just listen in on this one.
Okay, make another stealth check.
Very well. $22.
Okay, so you make your way kind of towards the perimeter of them, kind of sitting there stealthily doing your thing, listening on the conversation. But as she says, not only I am Weiss-Schnee. There's no way that I, after all my hard work and dedication, graduating at the top of my class, should have to listen to a child give me orders. You don't even know what we're doing. And you hear Ruby say, "You don't even know what you're doing." It's like, I said that. And you kind of hear the girl in all black kind of speak, "Is this going to be a thing? I feel like this is going to be a thing for a while." And Yang just says, "Oh, yeah." And kind of puts her shades back on. And they seem to be continuing through the forest.
I'm going to like stealth through the forest in their tracks like a freaking submarine following a nuclear aircraft carrier, bro. Like, I'm gonna just like, y'all don't know I'm here, but I'm here. I'm gonna go.
All right. Headed back towards the main team. Luna, you all are making your way easily through the forest and kind of finding your way. If you would, Ruin, make another survival check.
I got another 18.
Nice. By the time you find this has been roughly about an hour, but you come across a space that looks like somebody's actually taking pains to kind of hide it with the kind of, you see this little small clearing where it looks like things are a bit more well hidden. But you can see Talu kind of standing next to a tree that's kind of like had the bark ripped off in a corkscrew.
Aw.
There's Talu.
Yep. Ruin points out Talu just kind of standing there. As they all come through the bush, you kind of get nervous for a minute, Talu, because you weren't really paying attention till they like piped up.
Hey, Talu, I didn't know you could fly. How did you not know you could fly? Oh,
Right.
If everyone would please be ever so kind as to make a perception check at this point. Yeah, buddy.
Everyone or like everyone in that group?
You do what?
Everyone, or everyone in that group?
Oh, everyone.
Very well.
I rolled a 9.
Okay.
Leah, Ruin and I have struck up a conversation about Talu's ability to fly because he rolled a 9 and I rolled an 8. So just kind of
Can't
sitting there
believe he
talking.
can fly.
Well, I
Me
got
either. Like you got wings, but I didn't know snake people could fly without wings.
I thought I was the only one.
I rolled a 20.
Okay. All right. All right. Nice. I'd say you notice couple things. Starting off with Wanda, you notice all of a sudden the members of that team kind of stop and all pull out their weapons, with the girl in red pulling out this huge, like, collapsible sight that seems to extend.
I like extra stealth.
No, I don't think
Okay.
Like how is that? How do I
The
do
girl
that?
in white seems to pull out her rapier from her hilt on her hip. The girl in black seems to pull out this kind of like short sword that she like pulls out from behind her with the matching short sword. And the girl in black seemingly like slams her fist forward and pulls out like these gauntlets that seem to extend around her fist.
that's cool.
And I do
As
it
all of a sudden you notice that there's what seems to be a troll that seemingly brails through the forest. And even though it sees them, it just keeps running right past them, like doesn't make a single move towards them. But
Oh.
it is heading directly in your direction. Are you going to move?
I am going to stealth super hard and hope it just runs like right over me, bro.
Okay, roll a D100 for me then.
Holy shit. That's a big deal. Oh, 98!
Is it a big deal?
Wait, or is that worse? Wait, hold on. Am I rolling high or low? Wait, which does that mean
It
exactly?
doesn't matter. You got a 98.
What am I rolling for? I guess.
2d10s.
Yeah, you basically just rolled 2d10s, the percentage
Yeah,
die.
just 2d10.
Ooh.
Yeah, just two.
You take 10 points of damage as you get trampled by this troll running directly past you. Like shoulders you and hits you and like just keeps going.
Son of a mother duck.
And all of a sudden you hear, oh, there was somebody there. And you hear the one in black saying, yeah, they've been following us for like an hour now.
the viewer already seen, bro.
I just croak out, it's true.
But as you kind of say that, all of a sudden you hear a loud, as the regular team, you see a shadow pass by overhead of a huge winged beast in the air. And that's where we'll stop this week's story.
No,
Oh
what?
my god, come on!
Holy fucking shit.